through a mutual friend, Pastor Paula White. And in that meeting, Mr. Trump stated that he was very concerned about the direction that our country was heading in and the liberal influences that he believed were undermining our country's foundation. He stated that he was giving serious consideration to the idea of running for president of the United States. This was almost 6 years ago. At that meeting, which was attended by several clergy, he requested very sincerely and very humbly for us to pray with him, pray for him, and pray on him, that God would give him wisdom and lead him in the right direction in his decision-making process. And to be honest, I went away from that meeting with a very different perspective and a very different opinion and a great deal of respect for Mr. Trump. And in subsequent meetings, I found him to be gracious, hospitable, charming, very, very, very respectful of clergy, and very humble. An excellent listener, and totally unlike the media totally unlike the media mischaracterization of him. Through that first meeting, I developed a very close personal relationship with Mr. Michael Cohen, Special Counsel and Executive Vice President for the Trump Organization, and we maintained close contact 2-3 times a week through the years, to the extent that our relationship transcends that of friend, and I consider him to be my brother. I was a little disappointed when Mr. Trump decided not to run in 2012, because I'd have been right there riding shotgun with him. But when Michael Cohen called me last May and he said, guess what? The boss decided to run, I had no hesitation in immediately endorsing him and lending my support to the campaign, because I had come to know his heart and was able to evaluate his character, as well as to listen to his ideas and opinions concerning Christianity and the free exercise of religion, both in America and around the world. And he makes no secret of the fact that if he is elected, he will protect and defend Christianity, he will protect and defend the right of American citizens to worship as they desire to worship without any constraints or restrictions. I'm almost done. Give me about another 2 hours. The Bible says in Acts chapter 17, verse 26, that God is made of one blood, all nations of men, but to dwell on all the face of the earth. So I stand before you today. We may be different colors, we may be of different races, different ethnicities, but we are all one blood, citizens of one nation under God. And we refuse to allow those who have selfish political ambitions, the selfish political ambitions of selfish politicians or selfish political parties, to continue or endeavor to divide us in order to continue to subjugate us. And I believe that the person that God has raised up for such a crucial time in this nation, for this nation, is Mr. Donald Trump. Because in closing, let me say this: God has always went outside of the established order in choosing leaders in crucial times. He went into a prison. God went into a prison to get Joseph. He went to a barren woman to produce Samuel. He went to a sheepfold to find David. Gideon was hiding behind a wine press when God made him a leader. Moses was a stuttering fugitive when God called him. God always chooses those who people think should not be chosen in order to effect change. I'm going to start preaching, so I better stop. But I want to introduce to you right now my friend, my covenant brother, one of the people I feel more fond about than anybody on the face of this planet Earth, the man that without him this would not be possible, because it was his idea to get all the pastors together that we could from Ohio, and that we could bring Mr. Trump in to speak to us. Put your hands together and receive him as he comes, my friend, Mr. Michael Cohen.
Thank you. Thank you all. I'm honored to be here today at the New Spirit Revival Center with all of you and my dear friend, Pastor Darrell Scott. The word of the 2016 election somehow has become racist. And a racist is defined as a person who believes that all members of each race possess characteristics and abilities specific to that race, especially so as to distinguish it as inferior to another race. I've lost count as to how many times the disgusting, liberal, mainstream media have attempted to label Mr. Donald Trump a racist, a xenophobe, and a bigot. And let's not forget sexist, misogynist, narcissist, Islamophobe, anti-Hispanic, anti-Semite, demagogue, and countless others. It's disgraceful. As the son of a Holocaust survivor, it's hard to sit back. Actually, it's morally wrong to sit back and do nothing when someone who you know, someone who you hold in great esteem and truly care about, is being so viciously attacked, day in and day out. Not only is Donald Trump not a racist, he believes that all people are part of one race, the human race. Thank you. 1 year ago, while watching CNN, I was truly angered by the comments being made by a moderator and the various surrogates. None of them know Mr. Trump. Most have never even met him. And yet they feel justified and eager to brand him as a racist. So what to do? What to do? I knew what to do. I called Darrell Scott and I said, we need to start a coalition. And I said to him, a national coalition of minorities for Trump. Darrell said, I love it. And I said, I want you to be the founder. Having met Mr. Trump several times and knowing the statements to be patently false, Darrell immediately agreed. But let's speak tomorrow, he said. I want to think about this and I want to pray on it overnight. The following morning, it was very early, Darrell called and agreed, but under two conditions. First, that we change the name to the National Diversity Coalition for Trump. And I asked why. And he said, well, that's condition number 2, because we all know how Darrell speaks. Because I want you to be a part of it, and being white, you just don't fit under the definition of minority. I said, but I'm Jewish. He said, that's not going to save you, my friend. So he goes, if you're in, I'm all in. And so we began this National Diversity Coalition for Trump, which has now grown to over 700,000 people from every single race, religion, creed, and color. You're all representative of the National Coalition for Trump. Now, I want to tell you about the real Donald Trump, the man who I have been fortunate enough to work for and to stand by shoulder to shoulder for a decade. The words the media should be using to describe Mr. Trump are generous, compassionate, principled, empathetic, kind, humble, honest, and genuine. Now, when was the last time any of you saw the media praise Donald Trump for anything? Well, today I'm going to give you a glimpse into the heart and character of Donald Trump, because every day, Mr. Trump quietly and without seeking recognition does something to help others. A trait his father passed down on him and he has passed down onto his children. As an example, when he saw in 60 Minutes 3 families that had financially been destroyed as a result of Maytag moving from Iowa to Mexico, he asked me to find these individuals and offer any help they might need. For one of them, he paid off the outstanding debt so this gentleman's pizzeria could remain open for business. It's generosity. The second was for another individual who was a serviceman. He paid the daughter's tuition, as she was the first in her family to go to college. And the third wanted only the opportunity to do business with the Trump Organization so that he could rehire employees that he unfortunately had to let go and continue to stay in business. Here's the greatest part. To this day, Mr. Trump insists that certain items that this gentleman manufactures be purchased only through his company. And proudly, this man has been on television and credits his company's existence today solely by the efforts and compassion of Donald Trump. I can go on for hours telling story after story of acts of kindness and care exhibited by Mr. Trump to complete strangers. A man who deeply cares about people and this country. It's no wonder why, when first deciding to run for the presidency, he established his mantra as "Make America Great Again." And to make America great again for all people, regardless of color, ethnicity, or religion. Because, my friends, the issues that plague us, that plague one group, plague us all. Now, the media wants to paint Donald Trump as divisive. To the contrary, Donald Trump is, in fact, a great unifier. He's a man of great intellect, great intuition, and great abilities. And unlike other politicians, he's not doing this for the money, the fame, or the power. Donald Trump has all of that without running for office. He's doing it because he can no longer sit back and watch as America loses its place in the world. America must become strong and great again, because a strong America means a strong world, and a weak America will only continue to allow chaos, terrorism, and despair to reign. And this is not the legacy Donald Trump wants to see for any of our children, grandchildren, or future generations. Now, we're living in perilous times. America's Judeo-Christian foundation is under attack, not from the outside, but rather from the inside. We need a leader who is strong, determined, patriotic, and unapologetic against those kleptocrats who are robbing our children of their future and threatening our American way of life. Thank you. There is only one candidate who will do as he promises, who will rebuild our cities, revitalize our failing communities, restore our economy, replenish our military, and replace our career politicians with those who will put the people and this country first before their own selfish needs and desires. At this time, it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you the man who will be by Mr. Trump's side as they journey to bring hope, inspiration, and change to Washington, D.C., our next Vice President of the United States of America, Governor Mike Pence.